Welcome to the Dominic Hunter Show. I'm your host, Dominic Hunter. Before I introduce you to our guest for today's show, let me first say thanks to some of our great and fine sponsors, starting with Nationwide Security Systems, covering the comfort of America. And also want to say hey and thanks to Vacation Now Travel Agency. Again, welcome to the Dominic Hunter Show. I'm your host, Dominic. And viewing audience, we have a special show today for you, because our guest today is none other than Coach Otis Hughley. How you doing, Coach?
All right, Dominic. Good.
Great. Now, viewing audience, we're going to allow Coach Hughley to share with you this exciting news that's happened to him concerning his basketball career, about going to the NBA. So, Coach Hughley, before we go into your new assistant coach job there at the Sacramento Kings of the NBA, let's first talk about, what you did here in Mobile as it relates to basketball at LaFleur High School. So, part of you, I know, still cares for, the young men that you're leaving behind. If you can elaborate with our viewing audience about how it is making this jump start to the NBA, and also, leaving behind, some great kids that you work with, not only just playing basketball, but in the classroom, in the summertime when school is out. Just elaborate with us about that feeling.
Well, in the carnal sense, it gets to be tough. But when you think about the grand scheme of things and God's economy, He was doing that before I got here. He's doing it in a bunch of various places around the world. He doesn't need me to do it at all. And at the end of the day, you try to do your best to be humble, to ask God to place you in a situation where He's doing such things, because that's the only place it's going to work. And that's what I did. That was my prayer when I came to Mobile. Not, Lord, place me here or there and bless it, but to the contrary, Lord, where is it that you're doing your work, and what is it that you've given me as a gift where I can fit to help you accomplish that work? Please let it please you to place me there. And He placed me at LaFleur. And that's why those things were done the way they were done. And that's why in going and in leaving, there's no feeling of opposition to just other than glorying God.
Awesome.
Because it was all about what He did. It was all about Him. And that's what it's going to always ever be about.
Great. Now, leaving LaFleur, you was going over to Blount High School for this school year term. What was the transfer or the transition, or how did that come about?
Well, the same thing. Every now and then, the Lord puts a needle in your nest.
Okay.
And like the little birds, as they get older, the bottom of the nest starts to prick their bodies and their feet, and so they gotta get out and fly. Okay. To relieve the uncomfortable feeling. Well, it started to get a little different. It wasn't the same LaFleur that had been there when I was there initially.
Okay.
Things started to change because the economy changed, the overall mission changed, and a lot of changes in staff as well. The leadership had changed, and it kept changing and kept changing. And finally it got into a point where, there had to be a change in my family. Okay. And it made me go back to the basics. And the basics was, Lord, where is it that you're going to do something great? And please let me be a part of that. If it's here, hey, quicken my heart, mind, and wherewithal to be what I need to be at least up to standard to do what it is you want to accomplish here or wherever it is. Mm-hmm. I'm open. Okay. And then that's when the Lord said, here it is. And Blount became that place. Okay. Where I knew some great things were going to happen. And there again, as I said earlier, doesn't need me to do it. God doesn't need anybody. And there's a guy there named Jeffrey Pope who was with me the whole 7 years, who played for me as a junior college player and assisted me for the last 7 years. Has done a great job. Okay. Has a master's degree, loves the Lord, is been on a cross-cultural project as a missionary in Uganda, and he has an unbelievable heart for all these kids in the city. And you mention his name to any of the children throughout the city that know high school basketball, and they'll smile immediately.
Wow.
When you mention Jeffrey Pope's name. His temperament is a lot better than mine on the sideline. So they'll mesh with him a whole lot quicker than they had with me. So that's one advantage. He's going to be a better coach, and he already is a better coach in that regard than I am.
Okay.
So I think Blount is the principal and the leadership knows it, but I don't know if the Blount faithful knows that they are very, very blessed to have Jeffrey Pope at Blount High School.
Great. Well, meanwhile, Coach Hughley, we're going to take a quick break. More with Coach Otis Hughley when we come back here on the Dominic Hunter Show. So stay tuned. Welcome back. Continue on with Coach Otis Hughley, the new assistant coach for the Sacramento Kings of the NBA. But before we go into that, Coach, any more about, you know, as you was mentioned about the new coach there at Blount High School, your former assistant, Coach Pope. What is your thoughts towards how they're going to become this upcoming year? And then also, I want to ask this question to you. How would have been if you did stay and coached at Blount High School, coaching against LaFleur High School Rattlers? Yeah,
one thing I've learned from one of my mentors, many mentors, is always try to leave a program better than you found it.
Okay.
And we left 11 returning players at LaFleur. There's probably around 7 or 8 that are still there. And so they're in great shape. You ask any coach, if he can have 7 returning, experienced Final Four participants coming into a new season, that's a way to indoctrinate any new coach, let alone an experienced coach that's at LaFleur now. To have gone back to coach against LaFleur while at Blount, that would have been awkward. That would have been real awkward. Nevertheless, when you're in between the lines and you're coaching, at least for me, you know, all those kind of things go out the window.
Because, I mean, think about it, Coach Hughley. I mean, you have so many LaFleur faithfuls, you know, because LaFleur, as you know, is known for basketball, for our viewing audience in Pensacola and Biloxi, Mississippi. I mean, LaFleur High School here in Mobile is just known, amongst some other great things that's happened there, they're known for basketball, having the greatest basketball program here on the Gulf Coast, and especially these past 5-7 years since you've been there, because you won a state championship back in '07, and all the other things that went on that you contribute to LaFleur. And then before you got there, that was Coach Sherwood, who did great work as well. So to see the LaFleur faithfuls, to see Coach Hughley not on the sideline, working the refs or getting on the players or telling them to do this and do that, it would have been strange, though. I mean, even I, just being a spectator, to see you in purple and white opposing green and orange on the sideline. So that never crossed your mind in terms of coaching against LaFleur and you at Blount High School? Sure,
it just didn't stay very long. It just crossed and kept going. And not in a sarcastic way, but because I'm so consumed by the real issues. And that's trying to give kids what they need in the context of what they think they want. What they need is to know how to be the best our Christ has made them to be.
Exactly.
What they think they want is to be NBA players.
Exactly.
But you help introduce them to the gifts, who they are, reconcile the two, to help them understand how to make room for themselves in this world.
Okay.
Because when you got your gift and your passion married, then you can carve a life out for yourself.
Exactly.
When you can get that reconciled. But a lot of guys, a lot of girls, a lot of young people can't marry the two because they don't know who they are, let alone what their giftings are.
Okay.